Alright you guys, my name is Hutch and I make videos and put them on the internet. Last week I did a series of videos talking about my experience with Mr. Sark down in LA, working for under him for 3 years, and the feedback was really good and there was a lot of curiosity about some of my other stories down there, and so I decided today to do my experience with Hollywood Angels 1983, or just Hollywood Angels, or Wood, or Hollywood, not George. I probably shouldn't have even said that. In fact, he'll fucking kill me if he sees this. But I will do my experience with Nanners. I will do that, I think. I have to think about that. That's one I have to think about and make sure that... that's one that I have to think about because I think it's a little complicated. But in a good way. In a good way. And I think Wood's sort of the same way. So if I could just kind of skip all the unnecessary introductions that I usually do, I think I might just hop into telling you guys about my experience with him. The first time I met Wood was actually the first time I met Sark. It was the same it was at the same time. I met them both at the same time, and that was when I had gone down to LA to originally discuss the prospect of working for them. And my first encounter with Wood, and Wood is taller than Sark even, so Wood's 6'5", Sark is 6'4", and I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", but I'm 6'3", so it's like 6'5", 6'4", 6'3". And I mentioned it in the last video, but I'm not particularly used to tilting my head to talk to anyone, and so whenever I do meet someone that makes me tilt my head, it immediately makes me feel uncomfortable. And I wonder if that's the effect that I have on people, because I'm tall. No, I make people uncomfortable because I'm sort of creepy and ignore boundaries. No, I'm just kidding. But when I met him, my first thought was, oh my god, this guy is not only tall but built like a fucking brick house. But he, from the very first time I met him, he always struck me as someone that was ready to smile, ready to laugh, and ready to go out of his way to make you laugh. And if you kind of look at Respawn, that was a very valuable role that he had, because Wood has the gift of laughter. He's just got the funniest he's just got the funniest laugh that you might hear, because you wouldn't expect it from him, because he's this gigantic black man. Not that being black has anything to do with it, but we used to affectionately call him, like, you beautiful black man. And so, like, it comes into my head like that. And well, you meet him and he's just so big, but with the biggest, like, smile you've ever met. And I'm getting sidetracked. So the role one of the many roles, because I don't want to boil down what he did there to just one thing, because I think all four of us kind of switched hats sometimes, even though Sark was always sort of the pillar. If you guys are unfamiliar with the way the production works, every production has a producer, and Sark was the producer. And when I got hired, technically I was a producer. I don't know if I could have called myself that back then, but I do think I can call myself that now. I know how to produce something. Every production has a producer, usually, an editor, hosts, guests, sometimes audio, sometimes light, sometimes a couple other things too. But usually there's a producer and an editor, and for Respawn for a long time, Sark was a producer, Wood was the editor. And he used to, he explained to me one time that he can not only, and I found this to be true right away, but Wood can not only edit, but he can produce. And so he used to call himself a predator, so a producer and an editor. And when I had started there, him and Sark knew each other from G4. So it was like I had kind of walked into this situation where going to LA I didn't know anybody, and I think I was kind of okay with that. And then I walked into a very sort of small, intimate setting, because it was just, I mean, that office was our office. It's small, and we all worked together, secluded from everybody else, for maybe a year and a half, until we moved offices. And during that time is when I learned a lot from Wood. Not just about editing, about life and lessons. I mean, seriously, but You don't spend that much time with someone without learning something, as long as you're paying attention. But the role that he filled, besides being a producer and an editor, was that he laughed a lot. And I don't know if Sark is so much built this way. I think maybe he is, and I think he'd probably explain it better than I could, or in his own way, or whatever, however it affects him. But everyone who considers themselves to be a performer or aspires to be a performer, by nature requires an audience. And when that audience is receptive and open to letting you come in and entertain them, provided that you're a good entertainer, because I've still got a lot to go. I've still got a lot to go, like a long ways, if I want to evolve as someone who aspires to entertain people and make their days better. Actually, you know what? Just to get off track real quick, one of the ways that I've been doing about is one of the ways that I've been doing that in my own way has been responding to a lot of tweets and comments and things like that, and I ask people about their day and who they are and like who are these people that are following me, and that's been a really cool way to keep myself engaged. And I think I had a point trying to tie the two together, but I think I'll just get on with the story. So Wood's name is George, and he doesn't like when you call him George, so don't fucking call him George. And Wood always wears masks, or wears a mask, and it's that same ghost mask from Modern Warfare 2. And actually, Wood does not always wear a mask. Wood wears a mask on camera, and that was kind of Wood's alter ego? Yeah, something like that. I mean, he's Wood. Wood is Wood, and if you follow him on Twitter, that's Wood. But for the sake of videos, he just kind of came up with this idea that he would never show his face on camera. And he had originally worked out this origin story for why that was, involving like acid and saving some woman from acid being thrown on her or something like that, and then he got his face burned, and then one day actually when I was bored, I asked him to make a video with me, and I asked him to take his mask off, and I said, well, just wear glasses. And so there's a video out there where you can see Wood's face, but you can't see his eyes, but you can see his face. And dude, he regretted it like immediately. So did Sark. Like Sark was sitting at the desk looking over saying, you should not do that, you should save that. And he was a trooper. He just did it anyways. And I think that story has a point. And the point was he did it because I asked him to. And which I hope doesn't imply. No, it doesn't imply anything. Don't infer shit from what I say. God damn it. I'm just kidding. But I think that speaks to. His character remarkably well. Wood has the like I mentioned before, he has the gift of laughter, and he has the gift of he's like a gigantic black muse. my mind always gets it's only with him. Like we just got so used to, like, one of the first things I did when I started working at Respawn was I think I kind of told myself, well, if I'm gonna be fucking crazy and we're just going to let our personalities go in this office and kind of bounce off each other and try to make fun videos, then I'm just going to test these guys' boundaries right away. And so I think one time Wood was like, I was kind of warming up to, how do you say it, to sort of like racist jokes to see like which boundary I could cross with him before he took me to Pound Town. But I walked in one day and he was listening to, I can't remember, jazz, I think. It was jazz, like smooth jazz. And I sat at my desk, and I used to remember, like, want to make him laugh all the time because it was so much fun to get that giggly man going. And so I sat down, and I just kind of looked at him, and I was like, Wood, do you think you could turn that Negro music down? Like, this is within a week and a half of working there, and he just, like, I'm over here to the left, and he just, like, he had been editing, right? Because when I first worked there, he was working on a tiny MacBook. He didn't even have it was so homebrew when we first got there. I mean, it was fun, but he was working on this tiny MacBook, and he's huge. He's got this big hands, and he just, like, I said that. I was like, can you turn off the Negro music? And he just stops, and, like, looks up at his screen, and then slowly turns his head to me. And in an instant, I was confronted with my own mortality. Because in that instant, he was deciding if he wanted to destroy me or not, and he ended up laughing. And I don't remember like making too many racist jokes after that, but like I don't know. The nature of our dynamic at Respawn was that it was always very playful up until a certain point, when it all kind of started to get a little convoluted, if that makes any sense. I think that's the best way I can say it. So I met Wood, well, the first time I met Wood, he walked up to me and shook my hand.